Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. And in today's video we are doing a milking parlour tour video. So this is our milking parlour. So I've had a few requests for this a few times. So I thought today's a really rainy day, it's really windy, there's a storm actually passing through, so I thought, well, there's not that much that I could really think of doing when it's really bad like this. So I thought, we'll do a parlour tour video. So we'll just have a look around. So through here, we'll start off in here, is our pump room. And it says there, variable speed, vacuum pump control. So if you don't know what one of them is, it's basically very posh. It's basically when the vacuum pump's running, instead of it running at a constant speed, this controls it so it like revs up and down, so if that makes sense. So when there's a cluster running in the parlour, the vacuum pump, which is here, down here is the vacuum pump, runs up, it'll run more because it needs to build more vacuum, basically. It builds it on this dial here. So originally it wasn't a variable speed pump. When we first built this parlour, we wanted a variable speed pump, we ordered a variable speed pump. It didn't come straight away because of COVID. So it didn't come for a bit. It took like 12, I think it even took like 2 years to actually come. Can't be 100% certain on the dates because I can't actually remember. But it come, and when it did come, we're single phase electric. When it come, it was 3-phase electric, so it won't fit, it won't suit our system. So it's all had to go back and be replaced. What are the ins and outs on that? But this is basically it. This is the control box for it anyway. So if you can see there's a number, it says 00 at the minute. That's just because it's not running. But when it is running, that lateral number will be going up and down all the time. I think it goes up to like 40 or 50, which I don't really know what it's a measurement of, but it's changing all the time. So if there's a unit running in there, that'll run higher. That'll be a bigger number. When it's not running, it's running really low. So it's on a low number. So that's how it works, basically. So it's an ATL, it says down there and up there, ATL. So that is the breed of our milking parlour. So ATL are a company, it might have an address on actually. Here we are, what does that say there? ATL Agricultural Technologies Limited. That is what ATL stands for, Agricultural Technologies Limited. And it comes up with an address in Suffolk. So they're actually a British company. So they're probably one of the very few that are actually British manufacturers of milking parlours, because a lot aren't, if that makes sense. I think De Laval aren't, and I think Fulwood aren't. Could be wrong though. So if anyone wants to correct me on that, you're more than welcome to. So ATL isn't actually a very common make of milking parlour. ATL, I think, could be wrong, so do correct me if I am wrong. I think, as far as I'm aware, they got famous for making parlour feeders and out of parlour feeders as well, but we haven't got them, so we won't go into details on them. But I think, as far as I'm aware, they got famous for parlour feeders, and their parlour feeders run with auto ID in, and I think that's how they became famous. So each cow's got a yellow tag in the rear, and that yellow tag is individual to that cow. When it comes in, there's a reader. We'll have a look in a minute. It's got a reader, and it'll pick the cow up as when she comes in to be milked, and it'll give her a ration. It'll go on the computer on the parlour pit. It's very automated. But that's what the breed of parlour is. ATL, and that's the vacuum pump. Now, there's not really that much more in here apart from the vacuum pump, the variable speed pump. We've got a control box here for operating it. We very rarely use that bit, to be honest. We did used to use that more, I think we did. But we'll have a look in here. So this is where the milk comes. This is the washroom. So here we have one plate cooler. So if you don't know what a plate cooler is, it's basically this thing fills with water. And then milk comes in this pipe here, and it runs through that and out that. So the water covers the pipe. And the idea is the water is, it's mains water that's running through that. So that's colder than what milk is. Milk is body temperature when it comes out the cow. It needs to cool fast to stop bacteria building up in it, and X, Y, and Z. So that's one reason it'll cool it, because milk, you got a pipe that's covered in cold water, it's cooling it. But then as it goes out to this is the outlet up here, so it comes out of there after it's been through that, round here, and into this. This is another plate cooler. So we've got 2 plate coolers. And I think, why do we need 2? Well, actually, this is a special one, because the water that's running through this is the water out of the bulk tank, which is in here. There's a bulk tank, so you can see that. But the water is coming out of these pipes here and into this plate cooler in here. So how it works is, this is ice cold water, so really cold, and that will bring the temperature of the milk down even further. And as it goes through that, it comes through here, across that top wall, out up here, down here, you can see me, through this pipe down here, that pipe there, which connects to the bottom of the tank, down there. And then it cools it to below 5 degrees. So in the minute it's 3.5, so that's pretty much bang on, which is what we want it to be at. So we've got a 7,500 litre bulk tank. And then water heater, don't really need to see that. Basically for washing out with the wash-up tub. Sink. This is a sock, so there's a sock goes in there. So instead of having our old parlour had a filter system on, but this is a sock, so you can actually reuse them, but a lot of people do just throw them away and get a new sock, because they're not really that expensive. But these are the socks. They're in here, there might be a sticker on them somewhere. No, there isn't a sticker. Oh, hang on. What does that say? ATL again. And these are the socks. So they fit over, it's like a metal cage, and the milk has to pass through that. Passes through the sock. So there's little holes in the sock. I'll just get one out, you might be able to have a look at it. Not wanting to come out. You can make that out, not sure if you can. It's like a fabric, but it's not watertight, so milk passes through it. The milk pump in the parlour forces the milk to go through it, and it basically cleans the milk. It's pull any bits of muck out and what have you, so it's filtered and it's clean. So we're done in there, so I'll shut that door. Oh, one thing I'm not showing you, compressor. So this is needed. So we need this for operating the gates in the parlour, and the fact that we push the milk through after milking. So when we've done milking, there's all milk sat in the pipeline. The pump can't pump it anymore because there's nothing to pump it through with. There's no milk there. There's nothing. It can't pump fresh air. So we need that to push air through the pipeline and push the milk out. So that's what that's for. Then we've got an AI box there. So basically for AI and cows, but we're not doing an AI video art at the minute. Then we'll go through into the parlour. So we're in the parlour. First thing is, we've got a fan up there. Don't need that today, obviously, because we've got a storm outside, but in summer when it's hot, we do have that on. It does help. Keeps us cool milking, and keeps the cows cool. So, like I said, ATL, as far as I'm aware, got famous for making feeders. So these are the feeders. They are pretty good. Now, I say that a bit half-heartedly. I think there's a design fault with these, and I'll point it out to you now. This is obviously a buffer, on top, so that's full of corn up there. So that holds enough milk to do, or enough corn to do one milking, roughly. So the feeders do kick in and out between, the auger system kicks in and out while we're milking. That runs off all this electrical gear here. That yellow thing there's a sensor. And there's another sensor at the back on the other side. What I mean by design fault is I think that condensation forms on this metal and it runs down inside there. This is on my theory. And then the corn that's sat in here gets damp and then blocks there. We will do a video on this at some point when that blocks, because it does block up quite badly. Well, it can block up quite badly. But the corn comes through, there's an auger in there, runs across here a bit, the electrical bits here at the back. Then this is your sensor on the wall, so the cow comes in. Hang on, bear with me. That's our back. And your cow walks in. Now imagine I'm a cow. Now I've got a ear tag, one of these auto ID tags in. Show how well you can see that. It's got a unique number stamped on it, and there's a little sensor in that ear tag. So when that ear tag comes to be in this area here, it picks it up. That's registered to the computer at the back of the parlour. It knows that this cow is whatever number I've programmed it to be. And it'll give her her ration. But I'll put this back now. Right, so I'll put that back because we don't want to waste it, we don't want to lose it, because they do cost money. And if anyone knows, farmers are tight with money. Well, a very responsible one. That's all I need to say. But we'll start off with these gates. So this is the Galaxy gate. It runs on a ram here, down here. That's what the compressor's for. And there's 12 feeders, because it's a 12-24 swing over. So there's 12 feeders up each side. Then up that side over there, another 12. And the auger motor is up there, runs across, all the way across. And then we'll go to the back. And there's your auger, runs in a loop there, because it obviously can't go around corners, so it has to turn. And then at the back, there's another, I'm sure if you can see it. Can't see it very well. We'll go out the other side. Right, so around the other side, there's another motor up there. That runs the corn up this side. And then it's a separate, it's not, the augers aren't joined, it splits off. So it fills a little metal box there with corn, and that pulls it further around to do the other side. So very simple. Got your gate here, got some cows that are just chilling. But every one's got one of these sensors on the wall. And then the troughs are down here. Very good troughs. I've not had a problem with them as yet. The only problem I do probably have with them is this design here. So the pipe goes down here into this like box down here, and the pipe's covered. Cow's saliva and water builds up in there, and if you get a build-up of corn, you can seal the bottom of the pipe. And then we have to, I've got a bit of blue pipe, a shovel to basically try and rod it through. Which, I mean, at least the parlour tells me when that's happened. It tells us the blockage. It starts beeping. But we'll go down into the parlour pit now, I think. These are for if you milk the cord. We don't milk the cord, so. But I've always thought they're a bit. Oh, screwdriver there. I wonder what that's doing there. Shouldn't be there, that shouldn't. But we don't milk the cord. I mean, I think they look a bit awkward to use, to be honest. We have got the stuff to go on for milk recording, but yeah, it's not something we've ever used, to be honest. Then these are the ACRs, so if you watch the milking video back, you'll see that these were filling up with milk. So milk comes up out the clusters down there, up this pipe here, through this like sensor, which opens and closes. Then it goes into this ACR jar. That's got a float in it. So when there's milk going in, it lifts the float up. And then when the cow's finished milking, it's obviously not giving any milk. So the float sits to the bottom. The sensor, the bottom on them wires, so well you can see that. When it touches the bottom, it knows that cow's finished milking, and then it'll pull the cluster off the cow. So that's how that works. And then we've got volume washers that run up off this pipe up here. Heaters, which we do like, because when it's really cold, we've also got an open back on this parlour. We've got quite a big collecting yard, to be honest, so it does have to come quite a way, but when it's really cold and frosty, we'll leave them heaters on overnight just to keep the parlour defrosted, because as we've found before, it's not a nice job unfreezing a parlour. It is chucking it down with rain now, so I do apologise if you can hear that. But this is wash line, air line for the pulsation. And yeah, we'll go down in the pit now and have a look down that. Right, so when we start milking, we put the pipe on the bottom of the tank, and we come in here and press that button there. That is to start milking. You saw that? Well, it says hub at the minute. As soon as you press that, it says milking. And if the button above, that's wash button. So when you finish milking, press the X button, which is there, and then you put wash on, and it'll start to wash. It goes into wash cycle. But no, the clusters are down here. They all hang up there. They've got their own jetters. They all sit on throughout the day. And then as soon as you press milk, it lifts them all up, and we're away. But these are off now. But if I click on that, they're the last cow to be milked. 47, conductivity. I'm not sure how well you can see that, to be honest. But it tells you how much milk she gave and what have you. Sorry if you can't read that very well. The lighting doesn't. The camera's not. My camera's not very good at picking that digital lighting up very well. You've got the auto ID switch, so when the cow comes in and you want it to feed them and scan them, it does need a wash. I'll admit to that. I do need to clean them at some point. You just flick that switch to either side you want to milk. Milk comes through these little filters here. These are mastitis filters. I did do a video fitting them last winter. So if you want to find the video, you can go back and have a look if you would like. Teat dip. Pretty simple, this parlour. It's not got all the bells and whistles on it. It's pretty simple to use. Variable speed milk pump. Similar to the vacuum pump. If you've got a full side of 12 cows on, and there's a lot of milk filling into that vessel there, that pump will run faster to pump the milk through quicker. Whereas if there's only a little bit trickling through, it'll just run slow, saving electric again, like the vacuum pump. And it's less wear and tear. Then it's milk pump control. So normally it's in auto, at the minute it's off, so we won't switch it on, but either in milking or wash. Then it goes on manual, so you can push it through manual, as you do at the end of the milking, and press compressed air purge, so that's pressing the button for the compressor to kick in to push the milk through. So the milk comes into this vessel after it's come out the cow. You've got a jar up there, overflow jar, in case anything goes wrong. Pump fails to kick in, stops it flooding the pump back, basically. Then what we have here is control box, the computer control box for the feeding. So Micron M5 control. Oh, hang on, press the button. That's basically for feeding. You can put flags on your cows. So if you've got cows on mastitis or an antibiotic, you can plug that in. The unit won't kick in then, so it'll know that that cow is you wanted to hold the milk on her, and it won't kick in. You can override it. Only I know actually how to override it. So yeah, just better off not overriding it. But you can do quite a lot on that. And then we've got the stuff on the computer in the house. So this links back to a computer in the house. Just basically tells all the information out of this into that. And you can see it in a lot more detail as well. It's probably a bit easier to use than that. You can actually look up every cow comes up every cow on the page, rather than that you've got to search every cow. And it's a lot. You know, if you're in the parlour, you're using that. If you're in the house, you can go and use the computer in the house. But I think that's it in here. I think that's everything. So it's pretty simple, this parlour. British built. There are a few ATL parlours about. I think, I might be wrong, if someone knows different, but I think ATL started making parlours in about 2014 or 2012. They've not been in the game probably that long. We've had this parlour since we started building it. Well, started the actual groundwork for building this in October 2019. We were hoping to be in it by spring 2020. COVID put a stop on that. So it was 7th of May 2021 we started milking in this. And I never looked back. Real honestly, I can say I never looked back. Love this parlour. Can milk nearly 200 cows in 2 hours. In the summer you can actually do that because it just runs like a dream. One person can milk quite happily in that. It's 12 aside, it's not too much for one person. Sometimes if there's lots of effers in, you do need 2 people, but otherwise not. So, hang on, we've forgotten something. Parlour mats. So this was something we had added on. It wasn't something we always planned on having, but we were always walking on concrete in the old parlour. We'll have to do a separate video on the old parlour, I think. But we're always walking on concrete, and it's not nice in the cold walking on concrete all the time. I mean, it'd probably be an idea to put matting down for the cows as well. But what we've got is, I'll flip the camera around so you can see. What we've got is, I'm sure how well you can see this, is parlour matting. So it's an easy fix, rubber matting, rubber product that says, isn't it? So far as I'm aware, these mats are made by a company in Ireland. That's what we were told. Easy Fix are an Irish company. Could be wrong. I will have to check that out. But I think they make cubicles, mats, and various other rubber products. But that's that. So I nearly forgot about that. They are definitely something, if you are building a new parlour, I would recommend getting them rubber mats. They are really nice to walk on. The only problem we've ever had with them mats is, when they put them in, I think walking on them squashed them down because they started to lift. And I think it was because they were being squashed and bedded in. So we had to cut some chunks out of them to make them fit better after like a month's milking in it. But after they've been milked, the cows, they come out of here and down this channel here and do the foot bath. So seeing that from the foot bath video, they always walk through the foot bath, whether it's got water in or not, chemical. And then if I need to get a cow or got some cows to dry off, either put them in the pen there, or foot trimming or PDing, catch them in that pen. I've got no automatic serigation on this parlour. It might be something I'd look at one day, but for the time being, it's not a priority. I can cope with the way I am, the way I do it. So, race there, locking yoke at the front. You'll see me wash that a few times. So, protocol is, there's the cow at the front of the parlour now that wants catching. Swing this gate round. That gate's open now, so instead of going for the foot bath, you go through the race, enter the race. Then you come here and get your cow and stood here and open it up. The same with that side. You can pull them gates by hand and I just hold it open. Fine. And then you walk behind her, push her in there, and then you'd walk down like this. And then shut the little gate behind. So pretend there's a cow there. Shut her in. And then that's that really. That's how that works. Then we've got a big metal door here. And I think, where does this metal door go to? It's a metal door to nowhere. There's a gate behind it, sorry. We've got a gate. But it goes to nowhere. That's the cubicle shed outside of it for currently the dry cows. Now, we've had this door put on for a reason. The idea is, well, it was when we were building it, it's always been there, to pull that cubicle shed down and build a brand new milk cow cubicle on the side. Well, at the minute, the milk cows are right down at the bottom of the yard, and it's not ideal. It works, but it's not ideal. The idea would be to give the dry cows the milk cow shed, that the milk cows are in, and have a brand new cubicle shed built there for the milk cows. Still, it's going to happen one day, hopefully, but for the time being, it's just a door to nowhere. Foot trimming crush, so you'll see from the foot trimming video, we have someone come and do them. We've only started doing that recently, having someone. I've normally been doing myself, but it's just finding time to do it. And I'm not a professional foot trimmer. I don't do cow's feet every day, all day, every day. So I can do the odd cow that's lame, but majority of the time, he'll come and do them from now on, and it works pretty well. So we'll just go outside and I'll just show you the corn bin. Right, so it is a storm outside, so we're not going to stand outside for too long. But there's the corn bin. That's where the corn comes from. There's an auger at the bottom, down here, down there, auger system. And it goes through into the side of the shed. I'm sure you can see that. There you go, there. Goes through into the tank room and then through into the parlour. So that is 21 tonne, that bin. And it's set lower to the ground. So the idea was it was basically for planning purposes. Planning would only go through if it were low to the ground. So it was similar size to the shed. It turns out it was a bit higher, but no one's ever said out, so that's okay with rules. Right, so I just thought I'd show you all the calculator. So this is ATL Cowculator, it says there in the top corner, and this basically records everything that the parlour does. So if we go on here, so this is milk totals. So the orange is afternoon milkings and the blue is morning milkings. So at the minute we've got, today is the 8th of December, so there we go, we've done 1756.13 litres this morning. Slightly more than yesterday morning, so it is glowing up a bit at the minute. If we go to November, you'll see there's a bit of a dip there. Don't know what's actually happened there. For some weird reason, it's deleted some of the data. Not sure why, but they're the yields in November. But what you'll see is we had a lot of snow and cold weather come on the 19th of November. And what happened was milk yields dropped considerably. So this just shows you on this graph that milk dropped from there, which was when it was good mild weather, to the snow come and the cows come in and it just dropped like a stone. But then it recovered when the snow melted and it dropped a little bit, and then if we go back into December, the milk yield's actually going back up again. So it's obviously not as spaced out. There's not as much data because it's only got 8 days worth of data on, so that's why it's bigger bar chart. But then if we go on to feed totals, so feed totals, we'll go on to that. December's feed totals. Right, so it's not split into morning and afternoon milkings, it's just one big hit. But, so at the minute we're feeding just over a tonne of corn a day through the parlour. So, 1.076 kilos, tonnes rather, and then you've got all the other stuff down here in the bottom corner, some milking, so that's all your cow data. Won't go into that, it's a bit too much really for first thing in the morning. Feeding data, but then I don't know how, I don't really use it, so I can't work it out, but you can go on and calculate rations. So this is a feed to yield program. So it'll go up to how many animals are in the system. There's obviously cows. I've not milking 365 cows. There is cows that have gone as culls, which I've just not removed from the list. So they're still on there, but they've not been removed. So that would calculate how much corn to milk yield each cow would need. So if you wanted to really get into it, you could do that. But I'm not convinced I've got the feeding and the silage right just at the minute, so we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it as it is and not upset the cows. So yeah, hopefully this gives you a bit of insight on, that gives you all cow information, and it gives you all that's the actual tag number. So that yellow tag you saw me at the beginning of the video, that's their individual tag number in there. So that's all there, it's all in the system, so if anything ever happened, the cow lost its tag,
and you found the tag on the floor, you could come bring the tag in here, and you'd put it in and you find which cow's lost it. But yeah, everything else, it's pretty... I don't really get the data, the use of the calculators. I could, because I don't use the feed to yield, but it's there if I want it. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I just thought I'd just show you this little bit of the calculator.
I hope you've enjoyed this video of the tour of the milking parlour, because it's not taken me long to do, however long this video is really. But we had free half an hour, so I thought I'd just do that for you. But if you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope you've liked it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to leave a comment in the comment section below, I would appreciate that, because I read everyone and I try and reply to everyone. But if you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. See ya, bye!